Right then, morning. Following on from yesterday then. Don't worry, I'm not going to do a video every day. It's just that I'm back at work tomorrow, and I've got a bit of a fucked up day today. I've got to drop my kid. I've dropped my kids to school, but I've got to pick them up later. So my day is fragmented. So I've already been here this morning. I was here at like 6 o'clock and put a coat of primer on this, and I've just sanded it down. I was going to do a little demonstration of sanding it down, but acoustically it's not good. You know, I know from talking to my bird on speakerphone and that if I start sanding stuff, she can't hear me, so you won't be able to hear me. So yeah. Oh God, I wish I could edit that out. But there you go, we're stuck with it. Got a bit of a funny camera angle as well. I've had to set it low so you can see this surface because I want you to be able to see it. Yeah, I was secretly trying to find my good side with camera as well, but I ain't got one. So, yeah, you know, you're stuck with it, I'm afraid, but you and me both, so what do you do? Right, so anyway, to priming this, I'm using it's a System 3 acrylic gesso primer. It's no fancy. The more expensive gesso primers tend to go for a more traditional mix. This has got a lot more acrylic in it, which on one hand it's alright, and on another it's not. There's not so much pigment in the medium in terms of the density of it, if that makes any sense. But the medium's really flexible, so it's quite forgiving. You know, the canvas bounces or what have you. I have had problems in the past with paintings cracking on the edges. It's fucking soul destroying, you know what I mean? I spent like 9 months working on something, it cracks. But yeah, touch wood. I haven't had a problem with that for years. And I've started working on panel recently. Done a couple of paintings on panel, which eliminates that problem entirely. That makes them a little bit more robust. But anyway, I've still got some pieces of linen that are stretched. So today I'm going to be sanding and priming. I've got a couple of big ones that there's one on that wall there, I think you can see. That I don't know. I'm probably not going to start painting that for a while yet, because I mean, that big magnolia on back wall, like I say, I'll do a video about that painting because there's quite a lot to say about that, I think. But I started that 10 fucking years ago, you know what I mean? I haven't finished it. And the big landscape that is finished that's on wall, which I'm not going to drag camera around and all that. I'll do something about that at some point and all, I imagine. What was I going to say about it? Oh yeah, it was like... I was working on it for like 2.5 years. Not all the time, so I was working on other bits in between. But you know, the big paintings are a long old slog, and because I'm not like doing this full time, it's hard to get the kind of concentration space I need to work on that, particularly that top layer that's really slow, really really slow. You'll be fucking shocked. So anyway, yeah, I'm babbling a bit, so I'm gonna look. I've got notes. Thanks, Trish Kirsten, for suggesting that. Right, look, good it's done me so far. Fucking hell. So what was I going to say? Sanding, looking for a key, tooth, chemical bond, RSG. Yeah, because the purpose of sanding it in between each layer is to create a key or a tooth for the next layer to bind to. If you don't sand it properly, that's chemical bond I've got written down there, because gesso doesn't form a chemical bond. Gesso grips with the medium gripping into the key that you create, so if you don't do it right, it'll flake away and shit and it'll look crap. You get a chemical bond between the paint and the primer surface if you use a proper traditional old school oil primer. But they take about 6 months to dry properly, you know, so I ain't got time for that. And traditionally you'd seal the canvas with rabbit skin glue before you put anything on it, but with an acrylic gesso that bypasses that. I'm not keen on rabbit skin glue anyway. It fucking stinks. It's honestly, man, it's bogging. And it's, I'm going to fluff this word, hydrogyscopic, something like that. Which basically means that if you soak it with water, it'll return to its gelatinous state again. So you work, you know, somebody pissed on back there, fall on the floor. Yeah, so don't use that. Anyway, so to applying primer. I've got a tub of gesso here, and I got my big brush, and I thought I had a stick. Hang on. I've got a stick. And you just want to give it a good stir. I mean, I stirred it for quite a while this morning, so I don't. Just a quick one will do it. But it's just to get that, get the pigment into the medium dispersed sort of evenly through it, because otherwise it'll go a bit patchy and that. I'll move that out of the way because it's blocking camera. God, this is fucking awful, man. I'm like, brrr, heart palpitations and shit. Yeah, so I'm just going to put this on. This is so far out of my comfort zone, I swear to God. I've never even taken a selfie before, you know, like before yesterday when I pointed a video camera at myself and just started banging on about shit. Actually, tell a lie, I took a selfie in, I think it would have been about 1993 or 1994. I was living in an hotel in Scotland and I took a selfie of myself in the mirror, trying to look all mean and moody and that. I had a waistcoat on over a t-shirt. Fucking twat. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm probably going to feel the same way about this if I fucking see it back out. Right. So, let's say you're looking to apply that evenly. You might have seen what I did there. You might not. I want it to spread evenly, right to edges. The edges are really important. Because as you sand it, it tends to catch the edges more, so like it gets thinner there. And let's say you want that even, solid white reflective surface over it. So I try and think of it like buttering toast. You do corners, and middle will sort itself out. On a canvas this size, anyway, that works ideally. On a big canvas, obviously, it works a bit differently. And right now, all I'm doing is I'm waiting for this to go off a bit, and then I'm going to start skimming it with this brush. And yeah, I'm going to pause this. Hopefully it won't fuck it up, because this is getting quite long now. And you are literally going to be watching paint dry, you know what I mean? So I'm sure that would be as well, it'll be less interesting for you than it is for me, because I know what I'm looking for and what I'm waiting for it to kind of do, and I'll probably talk about that as I'm doing it in a minute. But yeah, I'm going to give it a minute to go off, give myself a second just to get my fucking head together, because like I said, this is not good. This looking at my stupid fucking head thing. Oh boy. Yeah, no, I'm alright. I ain't going to stop it, but I'm going to pause it for a minute and just like, yeah, get my shit together and give this a chance to go off for a second. Alright, see you in a minute. Right, well, yeah, okay, I'm back. Yeah, I'll explain again, I've no video editing software, so whatever happens now, you know, I'm 9 minutes 20 seconds in, I ain't fucking deleting it. So yeah, I'm back, and this has had 5 minutes to sort of go off. I don't want to give it too long because it's really quite quick drying. I have been messing a little with it as it's going off, which I'm just starting to pull it around and I can feel that it's stiffening. I can feel it under the brush. So I'm going to start sort of skimming it backwards and forwards. It's a little bit like floating a wall when you plaster it. Not that my plastering's any good. Do a fucking rustic render on your garden wall, but that's about it. Yeah, so I could feel it was wet enough for me to leave it for a second there. So now I'm just skimming it and feeling it dry under the brush. And I'm also going to take out any little specks of dust that fall in it. Yeah, you never find a paint bristle or out like that, paintbrush bristle even, or out like that in one of my paintings. Like Gustav Klimt's work's got like bits off the lids in it and shit, you know, and like some of Jackson Pollock's work's got stuff that's fell out of his pockets as he's walking across it and what have you. Well, that's full Fathom 5 actually, which was from when he was still drinking. You know, it's a bit of a myth about Jackson Pollock that he was pissed all the time when he was painting. His best work was actually when he was sober, and then like I guess he'd done everything he could with it, so he started drinking again. Ended up dead. That's what happens. Yes. You run out of stuff to do. Fortunately, I paint so slowly I don't think I'll ever run out of stuff to do. So yeah, you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just skimming it. I'm going to just keep doing this until it's pretty much completely dry. And I'll get a really even surface. It'll kick all the brush strokes out of it. But a little thing I've got written down there is orientation, which is when you fold the canvas, when you're stretching it over linen, you do like hospital corners like you do on a bed with it and staple it up. I make sure I fold mine so that the folds are on the top and the bottom of the painting, so there's nothing on the side of it as you look other than like fingerprints and shit. And bits of gesso, like, you know, you can see edge, can't you? So yeah, so I'll make sure the last time I skim it so the strokes are going to be vertical. Because even though they're going to be pretty much entirely obliterated, in fact I better fucking skim it quick because it might dry. Talking too much shit. Right. Yeah, I'll make sure I'm skimming it vertically because chances are the lighting, whenever it's on, is going to be overhead. And it's a bit like, if you imagine a ploughed field when sun comes up, it has like furrows in it. And if the sun comes up over the side, they kind of create shadows across themselves and like you have high points where the light's catching, so it really stands out. Whereas if the sun's coming up that way, it comes down and you don't get any shadows at all really, apart from on the very end of them. So yeah, because I'm after this really smooth surface, I'm going to cut this off in a minute because I've gone on way too long and I'm sure you're fucking bored shitless. And I'm starting to freak out a bit again. Because I'm after this really smooth surface, I want to hide any brush strokes that I possibly can. There'll be a little bit of texture in oil paint depending on what it is. I'll talk a bit about that as well in another video, but for now I'm just going to shut my fucking grid. See you later.